Welcome to Monday Night Live. I am a few minutes behind schedule. I was out walking with Marshall. It's the Queen's birthday today. So in Perth and a couple of other cities, it is a public holiday today. However, I was working today. Who have we got tuning in? LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Jump into the comments and let me know you're there. We're going to have a pretty interactive session of Monday Night Live today. This one is for the content creators that are tuning in. Hello, Oliver, the first to comment. Good man. Hit share, hit like, share the love, guys. While I'm waiting to see who's tuning in, I just want to remind everybody that I've got a competition running for my podcast launch, which runs out at the end of the month. So if you haven't jumped on that, the prizes are $200 Amazon voucher, a LinkedIn marketing toolkit, and a copy of Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It book. I'm going to be handing out a few of those. What you have to do to enter that is to go onto iTunes and leave us a review pretty much, and then just let me know that you've done it. And I'll be picking a handful of people to give those $200 voucher for Amazon, Crush It, and the LinkedIn toolkit. That's right. We've had quite a few applicants already. It's pretty exciting stuff. The podcast is going really well. Had a lot of growth. I'm just going to turn this light down. It's a bit hot with this ring light beaming on me. Hi, Putra. How you doing? I've got a few people that it just says LinkedIn user. Must be out of my network. Can't see exactly who they are. I want to give you a quick update on the Project 260 that I mentioned last week. I've given it a bit of thought, and I've had a lot of positive feedback. People keen to get involved, take their content to another level. What I've decided to do, and I think one of the strengths that you can have in business as an entrepreneur is to leverage your time and the existing projects that you've already got going on. And sometimes, launching into too much at once is not a good idea. What I've decided to do is incorporate my plans with Project 260 into Monday Night Live. Project 260, for those of you that weren't here last week, there's 260 weekdays in a year. So what I was planning to do is round up a bunch of content creators and help inspire them, motivate them, and hold them accountable to post on a daily basis, and then point out content during the week that was positive, share it with others, and we can all learn from each other and so on. The fact is, I've already got a weekly live, which is this Monday Night Live. I've already got a community on LinkedIn. If you haven't joined it already, search for the group, the Nathaniel Bibby Community Group, I think it's called, and make sure you join. I'm also going to be setting one up on Facebook. So check out my page on Facebook during the week to sign up for that. Basically, what I've decided to do at the moment, like if you post any content with hashtag AskNat, I generally either will answer the question directly, sending you a message, or I'll answer it on your post, or I'll bring the question up in one of these lives. And so what I'm going to start doing now is anybody who posts a piece of content that adds value, and when I say add value, it's either inspiring, educational, information-based, or entertainment, and you use the hashtag Monday Night Live and you tag me in it, I'm going to pick ones that I believe are great examples for the rest of the community, and going to bring you're invited to come on Monday Night Live and join me as a guest and share your content or share your idea. If I think it's going to add value to the community, I'd love to have you on. Or I'll just basically show the post as a example of what to do. So it's a great way to get some exposure, and also for us to learn from each other, because I don't have all the answers. I think it's good to learn off people in different industries. So if you're posting any content that adds value, use the hashtag Monday Night Live, tag me in it, and if it adds value, you'll be joining me on Monday Night Live. And it's a great opportunity to learn for yourself, for others to learn, for me to learn. I think that's going to make the community a lot more collaborative. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm going to share just some insights, I guess, some content with you guys today about how to plan your content and how to actually add value. This is some of the stuff that I've been going through with my bootcamp community. It's a bit warm in Perth today. The temperature's really shot up, and the bloody ring light is pretty warm as well. Guys, I've got Paul there. How you doing? I'm just going to share some of these. How you going? Putra. See, this is what I can see. So someone says Henlo is a LinkedIn user, and Hey Nathaniel is another LinkedIn user. I'm not sure why the names aren't coming up. It's touch and go with LinkedIn sometimes. Have we got anyone from Facebook? We've seen someone from YouTube. We've got 2 from YouTube, a few from LinkedIn. Anybody from Facebook tuning in? Let me know in the comments. Drop in the comments if you think that the idea I have about making Monday Night Live more of a collaborative place for content creators to learn from each other is a good idea. Let me know in the chat. Paul's already given me his vote of confidence, which is good. Amelia, there you are on Facebook. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everybody is having a good start to the week. Is it a public holiday where you are? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Queen's birthday, public holiday in most places, I would have thought. Anyway, so on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Perth time, so 10 a.m. Sydney time, I have a very special guest joining me for a live interview. Somebody I've interviewed twice before, one of the best behavioral experts in the world. His name is Dr. John Demartini. You may have heard of him. Dr. John Demartini is a master of 400 different disciplines. I love it when Maurizio comes on. How you doing, mate? Good to see you there. Not a holiday in the UK. Of all the places the Queen's holiday would be, not in the UK. Well, there you go. All right. So, yeah, Dr. John Demartini is joining me. The reason I've asked him to come on is because he has shared some, like when coronavirus started and I was trying to make sense of it all, he was the guy that shared the content with me that really was really valuable about how to master your mind and take control of your environment. And I think you guys are going to get an extreme amount of value. So what I've actually done is I've set up a LinkedIn event called the Dr. John Demartini interview. A bunch of you have been invited to it. So yeah, tune in either on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook on Wednesday morning. And if you're live, then you can pretty much jump in and ask questions as you like. We're going to be going for an hour long. So these interviews now, getting some more high profile guests on, like we had Jack DeLosa on last week. So they can't always do Monday night. So we're doing them during the week, and then we can use this as, a family of content creators to add value to each other. Oh, it's good to see some more chats coming through. G'day, Paul. Sandeep, good to see you. All right, so that's just getting the housekeeping stuff out of the way. So we've talked a little bit about Monday Night Live. If you missed it, guys, in addition to hashtag AskNat to asking questions to be able to be featured on this show, you can also use a hashtag Monday Night Live and tag me in your content. If it adds value, I will either invite you to be on the show or share your content with the community as an example of what to do. So it's a good way to get some more exposure on your brand, and also a good way to get some feedback from the community as well. Okay. All right, guys. So adding value. So there's 4 ways you can do it: inspiration, education, information, and entertainment. Let's see if I can share my screen with you so we can go through some content together. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, it's probably better if it's a bit bigger. Okay, so you can do this on any platform. The reason that I'm such a big believer in LinkedIn still at the moment is because you can still get a huge amount of organic reach on the platform. On Facebook, you pretty much doesn't matter. If you've got 200,000 followers, it's just as easy to reach them if they're following you than if they're following a competitor, because you've pretty much got to pay to reach them. So you can sponsor posts to reach somebody that's following your competitor's page just as easily. So there's not this huge amount of value in organic content on Facebook. Instagram, there definitely is, especially if you're starting from a lower, like the guys with like over 100,000 or a million followers are finding it very difficult to get engagement at the moment, because Instagram is definitely favoring the ones that are more day-to-day users. So most of us can do pretty well on Instagram as well. It's a great platform. I'm a big believer in Instagram. YouTube is more of a search engine, but yeah, you can definitely post content there. And Twitter's one of those things. You've got to be posting like 10 times a day for it to be successful. So it's not an area which I spend too much time on. LinkedIn, you can definitely share your content to Twitter, which does help with your reach. But anyway, so we're up to 700 million members now since this slide was created. And the statistics say that LinkedIn is, by key decision makers in business, is 3 times more trusted. So if you think about it, if you've got 3,000 people viewing a LinkedIn post and 1,000 people viewing a Facebook post, the value is very similar, because LinkedIn's trusted 3 times as much. It could even be more valuable. There's only a small portion of the network that are using video. So LinkedIn have publicly said that they want more quality video on the platform. So I think that's a great place to start. Like if you're comfortable doing videos, because what's happening is the valuable video content is being posted on YouTube and Facebook. And so people are going there to consume like their content, their video content, rather than LinkedIn. So LinkedIn are really trying to encourage video content at the moment. Let's skip through some of these slides. Okay, so when you're creating a content marketing plan, we've got a few more chats. Look at this. We've got a troll on the line, guys. Here he is. Every week, Maurizio comes in and says some constructive stuff. What are the immediate steps someone can take to get from unhappy to getting the results they want? So this is how you create your content pillars. All content. Generally, if you want to get engagement, the key is to drive some sort of emotion. And so you got to ask yourself, like, how do somebody get from the problem that they have currently to where you want them to get? Because most people, when they're consuming content, are like releasing cortisol in their brain, which is obviously not an ideal brain chemical when you're trying to add value to somebody. There's something called intent-based marketing, was developed by a guy called Frank Kern. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of Frank Kern. Frank Kern, that's his name. And there's 3 sections to it: framing, indoctrination, and conversion. And I'm going to explain what each 3 of these steps are. So framing, based on the knowledge that people form an opinion before they ever consume any content. Framing allows you to influence the label your potential customers assign to you. So when we talk about branding, it used to be that the company would define what your brand is. These days, the consumer defines what your brand is. It's pretty much what people say about your brand when you're not in the room. And so by framing the first impression that people have of you, you can influence that, how they see you. So this comes down to like how do you lay out your profile? Like what sort of photograph do you use? Do you hire a professional videographer? What sort of brand do you want to portray? And this is where framing comes into it. So it's something you got to think about in your content. Indoctrination is something you see a lot of from me. Like I'll do a lot of this. It's where you create a bond with the people who consume your content because you help them. So if you give them value, they're more likely to like you, more likely to trust you, and therefore more likely to convert if you have the conversion step in place. What's this? We've got lots of comments from Maurizio. How else we got on the line, guys? Drop in the chat. I'm just scrolling through here. Good to see some guys on from Facebook. We must have more guys on LinkedIn, surely. Drop in the chat and say hello, guys. Okay, conversion. Invite the people who already like you, already in your network, and have built up some trust to go the next step. So whether it's a phone call, face-to-face meeting, webinar, the key is to take the discussion offline. This is something that I see a lot of content creators miss. The issue with not having this step in your content marketing plan is it won't be sustainable unless your content is generating a return on investment. it's not going to be sustainable. Like, it literally needs to be an ecosystem that pays for itself. You can't be producing content on a daily basis across 5 platforms with millions of followers and not have any income coming from it. Somebody's got to pay for all this stuff. And so conversions is really important. And what you'll find is, if you're adding value, people want to buy from you. So you just need to help them buy. Well, you got battles of the platform. YouTube's jumped on. All right. So this is why it works. Most people run advertising or sales emails with no pre-framing or indoctrination. So it's no wonder 97% struggle to get an ROI. So what I mean by that is people will pay for, I'm going to have to turn this light off. People will pay for ads. People will pay for ads without doing the adding value part and building likability and trust first. And so it doesn't work. So social media won't work for them. By following this 3-stage formula, we provide the exact type of content that will add the most value to your target customer, and they bond with you on an emotional and psychological level. And it's a lot easier to market to people that want to hear from you than people that you're interrupting. So it's all pretty straightforward. So this is how you map out your content pillars. So if you think about the emotion that your customer is feeling with the problem, if they're suffering with the problem that you solve, and then how do you take them from that emotion to where you ultimately want them to end up? So with my example, with my business, for example, generally, like, people are frustrated with their marketing and they don't know if they're getting a return on investment. They know that LinkedIn and social media can be successful for them, but they actually don't know whether it's working for them. These are generally, like, businesses between 20 to 100 employees is generally my sweet spot. It could be a marketing manager, generally a business owner. And so they're frustrated. And sometimes they feel like a bit overwhelmed because they don't know the questions to ask, because it's very much a foreign concept to a lot of marketers and business owners. And ultimately, where I want them to get to is confidence and feeling empowered that they know what to do, they know what to say no to, and they can push forward with their social media, guide their team members. And so ultimately, I have to think about, what are the pillars that are going to get them there? And so I generally recommend that you set up 3 content pillars. And so basically, these are just 3 like buckets of topics that you will share content on. And it can either be inspirational, educational, information-based, or my favorite, entertainment. And anyone entertaining will do very well. So an example of this could be focusing on culture, could be focusing on the problem that you solve. People will always identify with the problem more than they will a solution. And then it could also be praising others and adding value that way. Storytelling is a big part of social media. And so I encourage you with your content to look at sharing stories. So for example, for inspiration, you could share something that you've achieved in your career, something you've been successful with. I'm giving you hints here, guys, of what I'm going to be looking for the Monday Night Live content. So use the hashtag Monday Night Live if you do use these ideas. Something you've achieved in your career, something you've been successful at, will give inspiration. Something that you've seen somebody else achieve or one of your clients achieved. If you share a achievement that your client achieved, then people will subconsciously relate you to that achievement. You don't even have to say what your role was in it. Great example of this was when Tiller Rides raised $1 million in 6 weeks. We were part of the marketing plan, and I posted about it, congratulating them. And then I got all these inquiries about people who wanted to do capital raising. Great example. Inspiration could also be something that you've been inspired by recently. So, well, it doesn't have to be recently at all. Anything you've been inspired by, you can share it, and that will provide inspiration. The purpose of this is inspiration will release dopamine and the positive brain chemicals that you want to release. So even though you're posting about someone that inspires you and not about your business, it will make people like and trust you more because of the positive brain chemicals they release when they consume your content. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and education, a good one to do would be mistakes that you've made and what you've learned from them. By sharing the mistake, and it could be mistakes other people make, but you just got to make sure you do it in a constructive manner. But by sharing the mistake, it makes people understand the context as to why they should listen to you in terms of what's the lesson. So always start with like the mistake, because then you have it's like you have empathy for the person that's consuming the content. Information could be something that happened in your industry recently. A lot happening in LinkedIn at the moment. They rolled out stories globally. That's going to catch on soon. And the whole interface has just had a big update. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so finally, entertainment. So entertainment, if you can create entertaining content, whether it be like what your team's up to, sharing things you're up to on a like Friday lunch or going to events, something like that, it does do well. One of the best performing piece of content I did this month was the post about the best profile video. The one with Liam Nielsen in it. I don't know if you guys saw that one or not, but that's an example of an entertainment post. It's got like 30,000 views or something. So they do really well. Not as easy to create, I think, for LinkedIn, but they do really well when you do them. So have we got any questions before we wrap up? I'm basically just wanted to announce those announcements to do with Projects 260 and Monday Night Live, and also remind you about the podcast interview, and also Wednesday morning with Dr. John DiMartini. I really want, I would really love to see you guys there. I think that's going to be amazing. If there's any questions, drop them in the chat now, or forever hold your peace. And I'm hoping to see some of you guys on next week. I'm sure Paul will be creating some content. I want just make sure you use the hashtag Monday Night Live and tag me in it so I can see it. That was epic, very funny. Oh, the video, right? I'm with you. I'm sure Paul will come up with something creative as well. Maurizio, I'm expecting big things from you, mate. Oliver, I know you're keen. Oliver's been pretty active on Instagram and LinkedIn. Very keen to do the Project 260. So I'm hoping to see some content from you, mate. And go on to the Nathaniel Bibby community and join the LinkedIn group. We can also exchange ideas in there. And I'm just having a look at these comments. Love, John. What's the theme? So yeah, the theme for the Dr. John DiMartini interview is really how to empower yourself during this post-pandemic situation. DiMartini's a master at coaching people on how to use the power of the mind and not be reactive to the situation and blame others, and take control and take your power back. Some of the content he shared with me has been invaluable in how I've reacted to the coronavirus situation this year. So I've been trying to get him on for a while now. Like, this is the third interview I've had with him. He's very busy at the moment. So he's made time for Wednesday, 8 a.m. per time. So really looking forward to that. I hope to see you guys there. That's all from me. Sweating up a storm in here. I should have put the aircon on. But I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in for a very hot episode of Monday Night Live.